All right, all right, all right. Welcome, you loyal listeners, to another episode of Agents Influence Podcast Conversations with who? Jay Cass. And today I got my boy, Steve Mohr. You know him. You hear me talk about him all the time and how much I love him. And we go on vacation together and he looks like Alec Baldwin and he lives in Florida. It's all just because I'm jealous of him. Okay. I'm just super jealous of him. But today, you guys know, you heard me talk to him before. Steve, this has probably been our fifth or sixth podcast. Hell, maybe our second. I don't know. I smoke too much. But hey, I just want you to know, Steve, greatly appreciate your friendship and welcome to Agents Influence Podcast.
Awesome, man. Great to be here. I think it'll be our second official one, but I feel like every
Are you?
6 months or so we have like an
Wow.
impromptu one that just pops up.
Holy cow, dude. It seems like we've done so much more.
Yep.
Well,
We just brainstorm, man.
we didn't meet until, what did that have been? 18? 19?
Probably 19, yeah.
It's before COVID. So yeah, it was right around
Yeah.
there. So I
Yeah.
remember you because you had come from Allstate at that time. But
Yeah.
yeah. Good stuff. So let's get right into this. So Steve, you got a lot going on right now. I'll just tell you guys, we call it the green room. I think that's a stupid ass name, but it's the only way that let you know that we were talking before this. And I said to him, I said, Steve, look, man. I said, I mean, you've got a company that's named Index, and like the slogan is, "Are you in?" Right? I mean, he's got a fiance that's sexier than you've ever seen in your life. Her name is Cheryl. I would say ever in life because I mean, I'm married. But I mean, she's absolutely beautiful. He's got some great kids. He lives in Florida. I'm thinking, I said to him, I said, Steve, I mean, do you realize the life that you have? Steve, do you?
I do, man. It's been a wild, probably year and a half. Lots of changes, but definitely where I'm at now is pretty spectacular. And the only downside is that I've been so busy I haven't been able to play golf as much. But we'll deal with that for some other trade offs.
Yeah, he owns his own business now. He's helped enough people. You've helped enough people take their business from 0 to 100, and I'm glad you're doing it for you. And loyal listeners, this is going to be fun and entertaining because we are going to talk about some of that boring stuff, but we are going to make it fun because I like to pick on Steve and Steve picks on me. Just so you guys do know, when it comes to being friends, there's me, there's Travis, Mitch Gibson, and Steve Mohr. We have our own little Facebook group, like a lot of you guys probably do, or messaging chat that we've had forever. We like to try to travel together, and Steve just had his 50th birthday, and we all flew down there to Orlando and played some golf. It was a great time. So I just want you to kind of understand that's the kind of thing it's going to be.
I
I
think
won't.
something super cool about that group is now that I've reached that milestone, as we call it, we got somebody 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, right, in our little group, which is, I feel like it's pretty unique.
It is
You know,
unique. It is. We pointed that out. Mitch 20, Travis 30s. Yeah, I love that. I love that. 40s and
yeah.
50s. Glad you
Yeah.
bring that up. A lot of 50 year
I was
olds.
gonna say, sorry, man,
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
well, a lot
reality.
of 50-year-olds telling that story wouldn't have told the story. They would have hid, you
Yeah.
know? So, but anyways, no, I appreciate it. And you look good. 50 looks good on you. 50 looks good on you. So here's the deal. I mean, you left Lightspeed Voice, which was a fantastic mutual decision. I still talk with Brad today. They've hired Joel Playthreus over there, who's doing a fantastic job. You head over to Better Agency. You stop there for a minute. You share your genius with them. You blasted them with your consulting and all the knowledge that you had there. And then you stepped outside and you said, it's time to do this thing. I know a lot of people don't know, me, Mitch, Travis know that you've been talking about this index thing for probably, shit, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And to be honest, I'm loyal listeners, as I always am. I mean, he's my friend. He's right here. I'll say it. But I didn't think it had any legs. I thought to myself, I could see how that could go. But here was the problem. I was not inside Steve's brain totally because to this day, where we are right now with Index, I tell him that I think he has one of the most needed things from us independent insurance agents. And what's really cool, it doesn't cost us independent insurance agents anything. It's actually going to save us money, save us time when we're trying to find the things that we need for our agency or if we're trying to better ourselves or whatever it could be. So let's talk about that, Steve. In about 2 or 3 minutes, give me the brainchild. Where did this come from? Why did this come about?
Yeah, kind of the genesis of it was, as you mentioned, I was with Allstate for the better part of 10 years, you know, hardcore into the technology, into the operational side, got to know a lot of folks, including Brad at Lightspeed Voice. And then, had all the technology knowledge, all the industry knowledge. But then when I came into the independent agency space, I had no clue, right? I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to. I was just, what do these companies do? Who's up and coming?
I didn't
All
think
these
of it
different
from
things
that
I
way.
had.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. And then, I kind of dived right in, which is what I do, and started building out my own spreadsheets and went to enough events where I almost kind of became the events guy, right? People would always ask me, like, what events are you going to? Where should I go? And it just kind of started building like, hey, I'm not the only one that needs this information. So you start building it out, and then you get busy with life, things happen, and had another job. So uh, but the great thing was people just kept piling on ideas and thoughts, and which is awesome. But it also becomes difficult to really stay focused and really take a strong direction. And I think that's where guys like yourself and others were like, "Hey, Steve, is this going to be a real thing? Are you going to where are you kind of going?" And it's just like anything. It wasn't until I made that leap and just said, "This is the deal. It's going to go," and then all of a sudden you put all your effort, time, and energy into it, and then things just start really clarifying. So, the deal. It's really meant to be that all-in-one resource for everything insurance, and whether it's technology, coaches, podcasts, jobs, events, all these different things really coming together in one spot. And as you mentioned, one of my 100% non-starters is that it's going to be free for agents at all times. Obviously, there's going to be some revenue stuff going. So you have to make a living on
Absolutely.
the service provider side, but it's also going to be me providing value to those people. But yeah, agents are always going to be free to access this tool, and it's just continue to grow and grow.
And I love it. So let's talk about this. So what does this tool look like? Okay, so it answers the questions that you ask everyday agents. Think about this. Hey, is there any what technology could I use instead of DocuSign? Where are you going to find that out? Where are you going to find that out? You're going to wait until you have to go to your yearly conference. You're going to probably call another agent. And they probably use DocuSign. And maybe the one they use, they don't even know what the heck they're talking about, right? And maybe it doesn't fit your agency specifically because we're all snowflakes and we all do it differently, right? Those are the things. What if you're thinking to yourself like, "Hey, I need to get some education for my producers. Where's the next education class on learning PNC or learning life insurance or learning health insurance? Where can I get that, right? Where can I do that? And hey, what's the next event going on? Where can I get another event? Like where can I learn, right? These are things we ask each other every day. And Steve has just listened to it as a vendor being on that side. And Steve, I'd never heard you tell me, like coming out of Allstate, how that
Yep.
was a problem you had immediately. Like, okay, I don't know this independent world side. How do I get up and going on that? And then also it helps the vendors, right? Because then when the other vendors know where they can go to find out who their competition is, or they can find out this information, I think it benefits everybody.
Yeah, and it's something that has been really kind of eye opening for me. Is my main goal coming out of the gate was to help the independent agency channel. I think it's like the most badass group of people in the world. It's such a
Amen.
difficult industry, such a difficult job. I have all the respect in the world for independent agents, and the goal was really to help them out. What I've found is that service providers need as much or more help, right? Because same kind of thing, independent agencies are hiring new producers, they're hiring new staff from other industries, just like all these technology companies are. So you get this 26, 27-year old, recently graduated person, they're coming into the industry, they have no idea what's going on. So it's, the industry needs this as much as the agencies do, which is obviously great and exciting as we kind of build this thing out.
We were trying to do loss runs, which were an absolute nightmare. How I had already done them my whole life is you get a Word doc out, you fill out the information, you put in the policy number, find all this, try to find the damn fax number of where it goes, send it into the company, hope it goes through, follow up, all that stuff that we do as commercial insurance agents. And I started teaching this to Jake and to Gavin. And I mean, it wasn't very long. It was a week, 2, 3 weeks. They're not getting their loss runs back, and they're thinking, I can't without claims history. I can't get quotes. Without quotes, I can't get. I can't sell business. I gotta eat. And I started thinking to myself, like, there's got to be a company out there that helps me with this. I have a freaking clue where to go. I really
Yeah.
didn't. And the truth of the matter is, Steve, like literally a week later, Brendan Core out of nowhere.
But
Never heard him. Hits me on LinkedIn, and he's like, "Hey, you need some help?" You're like, "Man, that's weird that that shit happens."
yeah,
But boom. But here's the deal: I would have found out about him if I'd have had the index, and
yep,
he, as you're saying, would have maybe found out about me rather than
yep,
some bullshit broadcasted LinkedIn message that actually got lucky, right?
yeah, no, absolutely. And kind of, as the website grows, the way it lives today, it is a fairly linear directory, right? Because you got to kind of start somewhere. So you can certainly search for all these different service providers. I've been working very hard in the background on kind of V2, which is where it starts getting really cool. And I've been able to do it for like events and networks and associations because there's a little easier to track. But what we're gearing towards is not only, hey, I want to find something that works with loss runs, but now I want to find out, I want product that works with loss runs that also integrates with this technology and this technology. So now you can kind of multi-select
Ooh,
and really, so instead of maybe in loss runs, maybe there's only 4 or 5 players, so it's
right.
not that big of a deal.
Mhm.
But if you get into CRMs and AMSs and all these other things, instead of getting a list of 30 things back, maybe you only get 5 or 6, and those are the ones you want to target because you already have technology that works with it.
And then they'll be able
Um,
to test that in a way eventually inside your environment, right? Like if I want to test 3 or 4 management companies, is that down the line there, Steve?
yeah, that's probably not quite
No,
ready for
but I
prime
can
time yet.
purchase it through
There's
you though, right? I could purchase it through you.
100%. Yeah, and that's kind of the second piece. There's kind of like a three-pronged approach that we're going after, and that's kind of phase 2 that I'm really getting ready to leap into now,
Mhm.
which is kind of on that, not necessarily consulting, but really just providing a marketplace
So, yeah.
for agencies to deal with a single point of contact, or instead of having to work with 8 or 9 different vendors. So, it's kind of one of those things where the vendors are very anxious to have a mouthpiece and a portal as well. So it's just been a kind of a win-win on both sides.
You guys ready, loyal listeners? Let's go a little deeper here. Let's get a little bit a little rough. Let's piss a little people off because their egos might be too big but yet too soft. So let's
Oh
really
boy.
think about what index really does for us agents, right? It's more than just information. And I love what you said, Steve, because it also provides information for the vendors to find us as well. Such a two-way
Yep.
street. Love that shit. But here's the deal, guys. One of the things we found, loyal listeners, at Indie Tech was yes, it was great that all the independent insurance were there and all the technology that powers us to profit. But the technology people were excited because they had never all been in the same room. They had never talked to each other. And even though you think that the other one thinks the same thing, they really don't. And it was cool seeing multiple CEOs or vice presidents or whoever who would get together and they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you think that way. That's the same way we think. I saw something in India, and I'll give shout out to Tori Mares there from Client Circle. He has in the top of his booth, if you ever go by his booth and you see him in the very top, I think left of his booth, it says made for insurance. He wears a shirt every once in a while that says made for insurance. And I go ask him what that means because I'll give you behind the scenes. That's his dream that we all connect. How cool would it be to go to a vendor or go to the index and you see that they have a little badge or something on there that says made for insurance? You now know that it works with other products that are made for insurance, right? No one making money off of this. Made for insurance is not owned by Nike, Coca-Cola, the Big I, or by Applied or Vertafore. This could be a third-party nonprofit. Who knows? But when Steve creates things like the index, this now allows them to start communicating. Now let's go a little deeper. When that happens, Steve now starts to build a collection or army that now can start to go out and can start to make change. Now think about this, agents. This is what we did 5, 10 years ago. We started collectively getting together, going to our carriers, going to our tech companies and saying, we demand this. And look where we are today. But the vendors can only do so much. And this in this industry is ruled by ACT, Agents Council for Technology, Accord. It's ruled by Augie. Things go through these groups to get done in the insurance industry. And these groups that I just mentioned are vital. They're needed in our industry. They're who got us where we are. But I think we're missing that second phase. We're missing that 2.0. And I think that's what Steve is creating here, loyal listeners. He's creating a situation where he's going to be able to get people thinking like-minded in a collective fashion and go to those organizations and not just go as one or two or three, but as an organization of 50, 200, 300 and say, here's the way that we've kind of worked together to make Maiden Insurance work. This is what we've done. And then see what they say. They've had 25, 30 years to create standards. They've had 25, 30 years to make download work. And it's just not working the way that it should. Because this is what happens when organizations get stale. One day, AI will be stale. One day, index will probably be stale. Doesn't mean we're bad. It just means that's the way it is. Now, I want you to know, Steve, I really had no intention of doing what I just did, but I want the loyal listeners to think differently. Don't think of Steve and, oh, he's making all these little connections. There's something a lot deeper going on here. And you have to have the understanding like Steve does. He's probably went on vacation too much for me, and I've made him sit there and listen to me talk about this shit all the time. But it has to do with it. And I want you to know, Steve, right now I'm saying this to you. I'm proud of you for doing this because I think this is the second half of what we've started with agents. I really do.
No, it's awesome. And it's a great perspective there. And again, as we were talking in the green room, it just gets you more and more excited. And I've probably been a part of, I would say, at least 5 different little pockets of vendors that, hey, we need to get together, we need to do these things. And, the demand, the desire is out there. But again, people are busy doing their jobs. They have sales goals to hit. They got pressure from VCs. They have all this stuff coming. So I think, that really just kind of played into my decision to just go all in on this because it needs that one kind of spearhead to pull it all together and then just, even if it's just, dragging everyone else along, but it is needed and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and then the little subgroups inside there. Think about this, Steve. Think about we have like a little technology subgroup, right? And let's say in that subgroup there's 50 vendors, right? We've got 50 vendors and they're part of the tech. It's hard for vendors to go to all 50 states and go to the conferences. Shit costs too much money, right? You work for these organizations. You usually have to pick, 5, 10, 15, depending on your budget, right? And how big your your company is. Okay. Well, what if we picked 5 or 10 every year and we went to, as a group, 50 of us, went to the state of Illinois convention, right? And then we picked 10 other states. And then the next year, we picked 10 other states. And then the next year, in 5 years, every state would be able to see us as what we are in technology. I say it all the time. You go to these events, there's 80 vendors in there and there's 5 tech companies. How the hell are we supposed to tell agents that they're supposed to know about technology if there's no tech?
Especially the state association ones are, it's just incredible. And I feel it's still more, but you're always going to be overwhelmed by carriers at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So many. And I think, even the bigger organizations or maybe that are a little slower on the technology side are really starting to realize that, they need to get on board with technology in a big way and provide clarity, right? So one of the things I've been working on is just kind of this package of going to a network, for example, and they don't have let's say they have 200 agencies in their network. They're small on staff. They don't have a way to communicate new technology or any certain initiatives on technology they want. So where I'm heading towards is going to them and saying, hey, let the index handle this. I'm like kind of a fractional CTO or however you want to look at it. I'm not going to charge you anything. But you just let your network know that the index is managing your technology marketplace as an example. And then whether it's through webinars or emails or just contact to those agencies, now they know I've got technology questions. We can go to the index and then, obviously it's a referral system.
That's good shit, bro. That's good. That's new stuff. You haven't told me that one. I like that thought. God, so many things you can do, Steve.
Yeah. And it's been hard to like I said, you just got to stay focused. And it's just me now, obviously I've got close friends and people helping me out, but yeah, it's just trying to get traction on the social media side at the same time as doing all these other things. It's been a lot.
And we talk about events, and events is where shit happens, right? I mean, it's a lot easier if you can go to a lot of events. You're going through what a lot of tech companies are. It's like, man, I can only go to so many. I'm growing this thing. But you're my friend, and I believe in it, and I believe in you. So I tell you what, this sumbitch is going to blow up. And I just love it. I just want to be like, dude, are you in? Like, come on, I just want to say that to
Exactly.
people. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
man.
start walking around.
Yeah, and there's actually a great. It's kind of a funny thing. There's a great Incubus song called "Are You In?" So we got to somehow,
Mm.
make that the anthem, and it's like things are better when you're in and all this stuff. So it's kind of a cool deal. But yeah,
You could have something that says, "Don't walk. Are you in?" All right, dude. So, dude, I really appreciate everything that you're doing there. Thanks for going out there because what you're doing at the end of the day is you're solving problems. And I know for a fact you're not even making any damn money, but we know if we give people enough people what they need, you'll get everything that you want. And what you do want is to be playing golf with Cass and riding on a boat, and I'll be there November 3rd.
yeah,
Yeah,
can't wait.
2 weeks from today, Cass. Probably when this thing's going live, Cass is
Yeah,
already soaking in the Rays, baby.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't mean the baseball team. I'm talking about the song.
Exactly. Yeah, Cheryl and I are already chatting. We may take a little drive over that weekend. So
Yeah,
we'll check it.
dude, we got a house for you. Seriously.
Yep.
Pool, in ground, heated. Let's rock.
Love it.
Seriously, it's going to be awesome. So I would love to see it. But anyways, dude, thank you very much for everything that you're doing here. This is really, really exciting. If you have any thoughts or you have any ideas and you want to reach out there to Steve, please do that. Steve, how do they find out about you? What could somebody do to help you?
Yeah. So a couple quick things. LinkedIn group is growing. I think we're just about over 400 followers now. That's growing pretty quickly as
Great.
a lot of the event chat goes on over there. But definitely find me on LinkedIn, either on the Stephen Mohr directly or the Insurance Industry Index page. What I've been doing is talking to a lot of organizations and companies. I've got a form that companies can fill out. There's about 800 listings out on the site right now. There's obviously a lot more out there that need to get added, and then a lot of stuff that can be updated. So on the LinkedIn page and the Facebook page, there's a form you can fill out there. And then obviously you can just hit me on email, stephen.mohr@theinsuranceindex.com. And yeah, man, looking forward to it, excited about it, and looking at that awesome 2024.
Yes, dude. I'm really looking forward to it as well. I think 2024, you're still going to be busting your holy ass in 2024.
Love that.
But really, I think the industry's really going to start taking advantage of it 2024. But 2025, as you build it out, cast the vision, you let me get up on stage enough and really beat people on. Because as I started this, loyal listeners, when I started this, I said, he is creating a product that helps you answer the questions that you ask yourself every day. You do. You ask yourself these questions and you keep asking yourself these questions because you have no solution. And that's what Steve Mohr does. Mohr, not More. You think he does more, but it's a different more when you deal with Steve. Steve, appreciate you very much, buddy.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Jason.
You know what I do because I do it for you, loyal listeners. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Cass. He's Mohr. We are out.